Discovered. How one incredible moment with a millionaire so changed a poor girl's life forever. Mia sat on the edge of her worn sofa, the fabric threadbare beneath her fingers, as laughter bubbled up from the kitchen. Her little brother was making a mess with peanut butter and jelly, but her mother's chuckles broke through the constant weight of worry that pressed down on their small apartment. Each day was a balancing act. Mia longed to escape her dreams of nursing hung like a fragile thread above their heads. Her classmates at school, with their expensive shoes and well-fed lives, didn't understand. They saw her a poor girl on the fringes and let judgment creep into their eyes, as if poverty was a stain on her worth. One afternoon, while working at the local diner, a neon jewel nestled between a dusty street and an empty lot, Mia's world took an unexpected turn. She approached a table where a well-dressed man sat, a stranger but one whose presence radiated success. David, a millionaire CEO visiting for a charity event, smiled as she offered him a menu. Their conversation sparked, igniting a connection that felt electric against the backdrop of clinking glasses and sizzling burgers. He asked about her dreams, and for the first time she poured out her heart. She talked about her family, her struggles, and the endless to-do lists that crowded her mind. His eyes lit up with understanding. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The comfort of their shared meal was shattered when Mia's mother fell ill a few weeks later, her health deteriorating like the peeling wallpaper in their apartment. With college applications looming, the pressure mounted. Mia felt like she was drowning, caught between hope and despair. Just as she teetered on the edge of giving up, she thought of David. She remembered his kindness and open demeanor and decided to reach out. To her astonishment, he welcomed her call, offering mentorship. The chance to soar above her struggles seemed impossibly close. But as Mia navigated this new relationship, torn between gratitude and insecurity, doubts gripped her heart. The charity gala emerged, a glittering evening where David's upper-crust friends mingled, laughter echoing off chandeliers. Mia felt an undercurrent of tension. She stood at the edge of a shimmering world that felt entirely alien. Her humble jeans and t-shirt a blatant contrast to designer dresses swirling around her. Every smile felt like a spotlight, every laugh a judgment. And it was there, amidst the swirling glitter and glamour, that Mia found herself facing a choice. Abandon who she was for acceptance or celebrate her roots and struggles. Then David stepped into her orbit, sharing a jaw-dropping revelation about his own upbringing that mirrored her journey. This moment of transparency challenged everything Mia thought she knew, sparking hope within her that transcended the barriers society placed upon them. As the night wore on, the call of authenticity roared against the backdrop of illusion. Would she shrink back and blend in, or rise up and honor every ounce of her journey? The air hummed with possibilities as Mia inhaled, strength blooming in her chest. The world awaited her answer, a heartbeat away from the next chapter of her life. Mia's heart raced as David's words echoed in her mind. She looked around the room, the laughter and chatter now dulled by a newfound clarity. The sparkling gowns, the expensive watches, the world she had long viewed with yearning suddenly felt like a masquerade. Did she really want to fit into this life? Or was she ready to embrace her own, however imperfect? Hey, David caught her eye again, his expression earnest. You okay? You look a bit lost. The sincerity in his voice grounded her. I'm just thinking, she said, the words tumbling out. I've only ever dreamed of becoming a nurse, but? He urged gently. Mia took a deep breath, feeling the weight of revelation press against her chest. But I also wonder if I could change my whole world, you know? I've never felt like I belonged here. David nodded, understanding. He reached out, his hand warm over hers. You have a voice, Mia. Don't be afraid to use it. That simple statement sparked a fire within her. She wasn't just an invisible girl in a diner. She had strength. She was ripe with potential, but she needed to believe it first. The rest of the gala faded as Mia stared into David's eyes, searching for assurance. What if they judge me? What if I fail? Failure to the enemy, he replied, his gaze unwavering. It's a stepping stone. Every moment you embrace your truth is a moment you're one step closer to the life you want. Inspired by his words, she decided to step beyond the walls that confined her. With newfound resolve, she excused herself. As she moved through the crowd, Mia spotted a group of women animatedly discussing some charity project. For a moment she hesitated, then approached them, heart pounding as she introduced herself. "Hi, I'm Mia. I'm hoping to become a nurse someday," she said, each word trembling but resolute. "I'd love to help with any health initiatives you all might be working on." The women turned, some surprised, others intrigued. One in a shimmering blue dress smiled warmly. "That's wonderful. We always need fresh ideas and passion for our health camps." Mia smiled back, encouraged. Their laughter and banter drew her in like moth to flame. Throughout the night, she spoke openly about her dreams, her family's struggles, and her deep longing to make a difference. The more she shared, the easier it became, as if the glittering world around her slowly began to fit. Instead of hiding, she was crafting her own space amongst the glimmering chandeliers and the clinking of champagne glasses. As the gala neared its end, Mia felt the exhaustion of the past weeks lift just a bit. She had challenged herself, opened up, and surprised others with her courage. But then, as she turned to leave, David caught her shoulder, a shadow crossing his face. "Mia, wait. What is it?" His eyes were dark with concern. "I need to tell you something important." The atmosphere shifted and Mia's heart sank, a weight settling in her chest. Was it about her? A doubt? Was she too bold? "Mia," he continued, his voice barely above a whisper, "there's more to my past than I shared. If you're going to walk this path with me, you need to know the truth." Mia's breath hitched, the thrill of the night now tinged with unease. What truth could shake the ground they had just begun to share? She steeled herself. "I'm ready to hear it," she replied, her voice steady despite the storm brewing inside her. And with that, the night took on an unexpected weight, hinting at revelations that could either bind them closer together or tear them apart forever. What was the truth that would change everything? David drew in a slow breath, the kind that felt charged with the weight of his unspoken truth. Mia's heart raced as she waited, her mind spinning with possibilities. He glanced around, the noise of the gala fading into a dull hum, and then focused his attention back on her. "I grew up in a neighborhood much like yours," he finally said, a shadow passing over his handsome features. "It was tough. My family didn't have much, and I made a lot of mistakes trying to escape that life." Mia clutched his hand tighter, sensing the vulnerability in him. "I was in a bad crowd, Mia. I did things I'm not proud of. Things I thought would get me out, but they nearly destroyed me." His eyes flashed with a mixture of shame and resolve. "I was arrested once. It was a wake-up call." The truth hit Mia like a sudden gust of wind, sending a chill through her. "David, the man with the charming smile and the designer suit? But you turned your life around," she whispered, needing to know more. "You became a success," he nodded, seemingly surprised she still believed in his potential, even after what he just shared. "I did. I found mentors who showed me a different path, but that doesn't erase my past. And I'm terrified of it coming back to haunt me. I never want to be that person again." Mia could see the crack in his facade. She swallowed hard, realizing that they were both standing on fragile ground, both seeking more than what life had handed them. "But you're not that person anymore, David. Just like I'm not just a waitress, or someone who's too scared to chase my dreams," she said softly. The surge of confidence that had taken hold of her earlier flared to life once again. "We're both trying to do better, to be better." His gaze held hers, a flicker of admiration mixing with his worry. "I'm glad you understand. And I want you to know that you can count on me. I don't want my past to hurt you, but I won't hide from it anymore." Mia felt a warmth spread through her as she processed his words. The fear of rejection began to fade, replaced by a sense of connection. She carefully considered the truth he shared and the burden he carried. "Thank you for trusting me, David," she replied, her voice steady. "Maybe we both need to lean into our truths. It's what makes us who we are." As he smiled, something shifted in the air between them. A bond that seemed unbreakable was forming, a bridge built out of their shared fears and hopes. Around them, the gala was winding down. The vibrant lights dazzled like stars, but Mia felt a peace she hadn't before. She could see a path opening before her, clearer than the one that brought her here. What do we do next? She asked, curiosity piquing her interest. I mean, how do we start changing everything? David's expression sharpened with determination. We start right now. We take everything we've learned and put it into action. Together. A thrill pulsed through Mia. Just like that, she felt a wave of excitement wash over her. They could navigate this world together. But just as she felt the spark of hope igniting, a voice interrupted their moment. Mia. There you are, one of the women from earlier called, her voice laced with urgency. We need you to speak at our next event. There's something truly special about your energy. You can inspire so many. Mia's heart skipped, mingled emotions swirling within her. Everything was happening fast. A spotlight now shining brighter than ever on her dream. But could she really do it? She looked back at David, his expression encouraging, his belief in her unwavering. But what if she failed? That simmering fear crept back in, mingling with the thrill. Was she really ready to step into the limelight? Are you ready to embrace your truth? David's voice broke through her thoughts, anchoring her. Because the world is waiting. Mia inhaled deeply, her heart racing. The moment of truth was upon her. Would she leap or hold back? And as she stood at the precipice, she couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. What awaited her on the other side? Mia felt her pulse quicken, her breath hitching as she stood between the sensational call to action and the comforting presence of David. The room seemed to swell with noise and potential, the gala now a swirl of faces and bright lights. But all she could focus on was the weight of the moment she was being thrust into. What if I mess up? She finally said, her voice barely above a whisper, laced with the apprehension that she had tried so hard to suppress. David took a step closer, his hand still enveloping hers, grounding her. Mia, everyone feels that way when they're about to push their boundaries. You're not alone in this. His eyes sparkled with encouragement. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about authenticity. Just be yourself. She nodded slowly, feeling the tension in her body start to ease, his confidence washing over her like a warm tide. The words floated in her mind, be yourself. It was simple and yet so profound. The small girl from the crowded diner inside her, the one who had hidden her dreams behind a friendly smile, was finally urging her to step forward. Okay, she said, determination forming a backbone beneath her uncertainty. I'll do it. David beamed, and at that moment everything clicked. It wasn't just about her seizing a chance. It was about breaking the chains that had held her back for so long. She realized that she wanted more than just to survive. She wanted to inspire. As the gala's chatter faded back into the periphery, moments wrapped themselves around her like the faint scent of roses in the air. She took another deep breath, letting it fill her lungs, feeling invigorated for the first time. As passion began to override fear, the woman who had called her over approached again, an eager smile on her face. Great. We're thrilled you'll be part of it. Let me introduce you to the team in charge of the event. She gestured toward a small group huddled together, appearing animated and buzzing with ideas. Mia, this is perfect, exclaimed the woman who had drawn her into this whirlwind. The energy you'll bring to the event is exactly what we need. Mia followed her gaze, her heart racing. She was stepping out of her comfort zone, a leap that felt both terrifying and exhilarating. Just then David squeezed her hand and leaned closer, his voice filtering into her ear. You've got this. I believe in you. His words were a safety net, and the warmth of his support reinforced her growing resolve. They moved together toward the group, and for the first time, Mia found herself offering her thoughts, ideas spilling out like butterflies taking flight. The eyes around her leaned closer, nodding, interested. The longer she spoke, the more she noticed that she wasn't just mumbling through a pitch or nervously shuffling her feet. She was living it. She was taking ownership of her own narrative. But beneath the newfound excitement was a gnawing uncertainty. As she exchanged ideas and laughter, her mind slipped back to her childhood. The echoes of doubt whispered in the corners, taunting her with images of failure. Was she really going to impact someone else's life? Or would she falter on stage one day? David's steady presence was her anchor throughout the swirling insecurities. He moved through the crowd, mingling but always returning, his supportive glances giving her strength. With each passing moment, Her voice grew louder within the cacophony of possibilities as applause broke out around her, a spontaneous reaction from her audience after a particularly passionate moment. The exhilaration surged higher. Yet, it was clear she would face even greater challenges to maintain forward momentum. How do we keep this energy alive? Someone asked, looking intrigued by her ideas. Mia opened her mouth to respond, heart racing at the thought of deepening this unexpected connection with her newfound peers. Just then, a faint commotion began from the other side of the venue, sharp and jarring, drawing everyone's attention. Mia's stomach dropped as she caught the steely gaze of a man breaking through the crowd. He didn't look like anyone she recognized, but his presence charged the air, and she felt an inexplicable chill. The buzz around the gala faded away, replaced by a haunting sense of foreboding. Mia's heart raced. Who was this newcomer and what did he want? As whispers filled the space, she couldn't shake the feeling that this night was only going to get more intense. What was about to unfold would change everything they had just begun to build. Mia was frozen, her mind racing with questions as the man made his way through the crowd, his confident stride commanding attention. The laughter and chatter that had filled the gala turned into a murmur, eyes shifting toward this mysterious figure. She clutched David's hand tighter, drawing comfort from his steady grip while scanning the room for hints of discomfort or concern etched on familiar faces. "What is happening?" she asked David, her voice only a whisper now, drowned by the growing buzz of uncertainty that thrummed in the air. "I am not sure," David replied, his eyes narrowing as he focused on the man, intent on unraveling the mystery. As the man approached the center of the gathering, a hush fell over the crowd. He exuded an aura of power, sharp suit, piercing gaze, and an air that suggested he commanded rooms effortlessly. Mia felt his presence like a storm brewing, and with every step he took, her heart thundered louder in her chest. "Good evening, everyone," he announced, his voice rich and resonant. "I'm Thomas Grayson, and I have a few words to share that concern this event." Mia's heart raced, nearly drowning out the murmurings around her. Thomas Grayson, the multimillionaire CEO everyone whispered about? The one who had the power to change lives with a single decision? The revelation knocked her off balance. Could this night really be about to take an unexpected twist? "Tonight is special," he continued, "but it's only the beginning. I've seen amazing potential here. However, I need someone who can not only inspire ambition, but also embody resilience in tough times." He scanned the crowd, his gaze sweeping over faces like brush strokes on canvas. Mia felt an invisible thread tugging at her, pulling her closer to him, even as her gut told her to step back. Then, to her shock and disbelief, his eyes landed on her. For a moment, time paused. "You in the blue dress," he called out, and her breath caught in her throat. "Come forward." She felt every head turn, every breath held as the spotlight of attention bore down on her. Panic clawed at her, and a voice inside screamed for her to run, to hide. But David squeezed her hand reassuringly, grounding her in that moment. "Mia," he whispered, the support in his tone igniting a flicker of courage. It was a moment she had never anticipated, a crossroads between her past and potential future. Gathering herself, she stepped forward, heart pounding as she approached the daunting figure. "Your ideas tonight were electrifying. I sensed a fire in you that I want to see fostered further," Thomas said, his eyes locked on hers with a weight she felt deep in her chest. "What would you say to the opportunity of leading a project that could not just change your life but the lives of many?" Her mouth went dry. "Me?" she finally managed to utter, the reality crashing over her, buoying hope she didn't know she could hold. "Yes, you. I see the spark. I want you to meet with me tomorrow and discuss your vision for this initiative." The crowd murmured, a mix of awe and admiration sparking through their expressions. Mia felt a wave of disbelief mingled with excitement. This was not just any opportunity, this was life-changing. Yet shadows of doubt instantly clouded her mind, whispering that this could all be too good to be true. As the murmurs rose around her, exhilaration battled with fear inside her. What if she was not worthy? What if she failed? "Just remember," David's voice cut through her racing thoughts like a lifeline. "It's your moment, Mia. Don't let fear steal it." The crowd clapped, urging her on, their energy like a pulse, feeding her hesitance until she felt it shift into resolve. "I'll do it," she declared, surprised by the strength in her own voice. But just as she turned toward the familiar faces of excitement and encouragement, she caught a glimpse of a woman on the edge of the crowd, her expression dark and foreboding, as if she knew something Mia didn't. As the applause rang in her ears and excitement surged, an unsettling knot formed in the pit of her stomach. What did this woman know? Mia looked back at Thomas, who was already turning to address the crowd again. The spotlight flickered across his face, powerful yet unnerving. What had she stepped into? Tomorrow's meeting promised to be both an opportunity and a challenge, and the stakes were higher than she ever anticipated. Would she rise to meet them? Or would unseen forces pull her back into the shadows she fought so hard to escape? This was only the beginning, but could she truly handle everything about to change? Mia stood in the midst of applause, her heart still racing as the crowd's approval washed over her. Yet amidst the cheers, that woman loomed in her periphery, her penetrating gaze never wavering. It sent shivers down Mia's spine, a stark reminder that not everything wrapped in glittering opportunities was as it seemed. David squeezed her hand again, his warmth reassuring. "We've got this," he murmured, but even his confidence felt a bit fragile in the face of her uncertainty. The party was supposed to be a celebration, a showcase of dreams stitched together by the promise of tomorrow. Instead, it felt like a battleground for hopes, fears, and unspoken threats. As Mia stepped back into the crowd, she tried to shake off the tension. Her friends rushed over, pulling her into a flurry of congratulatory hugs. "You were incredible," one exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. "I can't believe he chose you." "Right? How is this even happening?" Mia laughed, though the joy struggled to find purchase. Deep down, the fear of failure and doubt clung to her like a shadow. Her cheeks hurt from the intensity of her smile, but the thrill felt muted compared to the fear whispering in her mind, warning her of the storm that could follow. "I need to go talk to him," David said, his tone suddenly serious. To figure out what this is really about." "Wait. Right now?" Mia's heart leaped into her throat. "What if he's not a monster, Mia? Promise." His gaze was steady, a beacon of hope through her tumult. "Just hold tight. I'll be back in a minute." Mia watched him navigate the crowd toward Thomas, her stomach going queasy. What if this opportunity was too big? This chance could turn her life upside down. But could a single meeting shape her future? She distracted herself by joining a group of friends discussing the night's events. Laughter rang out as they reminisced about past galas, but Mia only half listened, her mind racing through scenarios of success and disaster. What if she couldn't handle the responsibility of leading a project? What if it was too ambitious? A commotion interrupted her thoughts. The dark-haired woman was now making her way through the crowd, her expression intent and unyielding. Mia's heart sped up again, instinctively sensing she should pay attention. This woman seemed all too aware of the stakes, and for reasons Mia couldn't pinpoint, she felt the cold edge of fear curve around her. David returned, perfectly composed, but something unreadable lingered in his eyes, a mix of excitement and concern. "Thomas wants to meet tomorrow," just as he said, swallowing hard. "But there's something odd about him." Mia's breath hitched. "Odd? How?" "He said he's taken a personal interest in you." "He's intense, Mia." "It's just," David hesitated, searching for the right words. "I don't know, just trust your gut. I've got your back no matter what, okay?" "I know." She nodded, uncertainty swirling. The gala was winding down, lights dimming and the crowd dispersing. As they gathered their belongings, Mia felt the tug of something deeper than fear. This was her moment, wasn't it? What if the opportunity of a lifetime was right there, begging her to seize it? But even as she reached for hope, she felt a heavy weight pressing down, urging caution. As they stepped into the cool night air, the woman lingered just outside the gala doors, her eyes locking onto Mia's. A chilling sense of recognition washed over her, but before she could unravel that feeling, the woman simply turned and disappeared into the dark. "Mia?" David's voice brought her back. "Are you ready?" She hesitated, an intense pulse of energy coursing through her, a mix of power, fear, hope, and uncertainty. Could she really embrace what lay ahead? The streets outside felt both daunting and liberating. "Ready as I'll ever be," she murmured, taking a deep breath. Little did she know, the real storm was just beginning. As they drove home, the city lights flickered like fireflies in the night. Mia couldn't shake the feeling that something monumental was on the horizon. And it wasn't just the meeting with Thomas. What realizations awaited her? What secrets lingered in the shadows waiting to emerge? Tomorrow's meeting would not just define her, it might reveal truths about herself she never expected. The early morning light filtered through Mia's curtains, casting soft patterns on her bedroom wall. She woke to a mix of excitement and trepidation swirling in her stomach. Today was the day she would meet Thomas, the man who could alter the trajectory of her life with a single conversation. Mia sat up, rubbing the sleep from her eyes as doubts crept back in. What if she wasn't enough? What if he was just using her, as the dark-haired woman seemed to suggest? She shook her head, willing the negativity away. This was her moment and she had to seize it. With determination she dressed quickly, wearing a simple yet elegant outfit that made her feel confident, ready to take on anything. As she brushed her hair and applied a hint of makeup, she caught a glimpse of her reflection, her eyes shimmering with nervous anticipation. She wanted to project strength, but underneath, she felt fragile, as if she might shatter at the first hint of adversity. David arrived earlier than expected, his demeanor calm, but a flicker of concern danced in his eyes when he took in her expression. "You okay?" he asked, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Mia nodded, though her throat felt tight. "Just nervous." "Understandable. Just remember, you're amazing." "He needs you as much as you need him," he replied, his warmth wrapping around her like a safety blanket. The drive to the office was a blur. They exchanged light conversation, trying to keep the atmosphere upbeat, but Mia could feel the weight of reality pressing in. How would Thomas react to her? Would she say the right things? When they arrived, the towering building loomed over her, the glass reflecting her growing anxieties. After a quick check-in at the reception desk, they stepped into the sleek elevator, its walls lined with steel and mirrors. The air was charged with energy. When the elevator doors opened, Mia felt her heart pound in her chest. The lobby was bustling with professionals moving like clockwork, each intent on their own purpose. David squeezed her hand one last time before letting go. "You got this," he whispered with every step toward Thomas's office. Her heart raced faster. The assistant greeted her with a polite smile and gestured for her to take a seat in the waiting area. Mia took a deep breath and tried to steady her shaking hands. The scent of fresh coffee wafted through the air, mingling with the quiet hum of conversation, a stark contrast to the storm inside her. Minutes felt like hours as she sat there, battling her insecurities. Each tick of the wall clock seemed to poke at her confidence, but before she could spiral too far, a door opened and Thomas emerged. He was taller than she expected, his presence commanding yet unsettling. There was an intensity in his gaze that felt almost magnetic, compelling her to stand. Mia's heart raced as he approached, extending a firm hand. "Mia, right? I'm glad you could make it." "Thank you for having me," she replied, her voice steadier than she felt. "Please come in," he said, ushering her into his office, a space filled with modern flair and an impressive view of the city skyline. As she stepped inside, she felt the whirlwind of possibilities swirling around her. Mia needed to show him that she was ready, that she could contribute something valuable. Yet as they settled into the conversation, Thomas's interest seemed laser-focused. He asked questions about her background, her dreams, and her vision. Throughout his inquiries, Mia found herself speaking more confidently than she ever thought possible. But as the conversation unfolded, she sensed an underlying current. There it was again, the woman from the gala flashed into her mind. What did she want from her? Why had her presence felt so ominous? "Mia," Thomas interrupted her thoughts. "There's something I want to discuss, and it's important." Her heart dropped. The weight of his words hung heavy in the air, and Mia braced herself for what came next. What he said might change everything, but was she ready for the truth? Mia's breath hitched in her throat as she locked eyes with Thomas. The anticipation was a tangible thing, wrapping around her like a tightrope she was expected to walk. "What is it?" she asked, the words tumbling out before she had fully processed the question. "I've been looking for someone with fresh ideas for an upcoming project. We need someone who can think outside the box. Someone who isn't afraid to challenge the status quo," he said, leaning forward slightly, his hands clasped together on the desk. Her heart raced. This was what she had dreamt of, a chance to be part of something greater. "I'm here to brainstorm and contribute. I have ideas that I believe could work," she responded, her voice growing firmer. Thomas gave her a slow nod, his expression unreadable. I like the confidence, but there's more to it than that. You need resilience. This project will push boundaries, and there will be a lot of noise from the industry. I need to know, can you handle that? Mia hesitated. The question sent another wave of doubt crashing over her. But then she remembered the countless late nights spent perfecting her ideas, the sacrifices she had made, and the hope pooling in her heart. I think so, she answered slowly, her pulse quickening. I faced my fair share of challenges. Growing up, it was never easy. I had to adapt and find ways to keep moving forward. Tell me more about that, Thomas probed, his eyes keen and watchful. Mia swallowed down the tidal wave of memories threatening to pull her under. Growing up in a small town, everything always felt limited. But I learned to make the most of what I had. I started a small online business during my college years, selling handmade crafts. It taught me about persistence, about showing up even when things got tough. He leaned back, regarding her with a newfound intensity. That's exactly the kind of spirit we need. Your background. It brings a unique perspective. But there's something else. His voice turned serious. You'd be entering a world where not everyone will have your best interests at heart. Can you be prepared for that? Mia felt her heart sink again, but she shook her head, forcing a smile to mask the uncertainty brewing within. If I'm being honest, I'm used to uncertainty. How can I prepare for the challenges if I don't dive in? A flicker of respect crossed his features. That's the spirit I'm looking for. You're not just a candidate for this role. You're a potential asset. We can work together on this. But even as she began to revel in her exhilaration, the shadow of that woman from the gala loomed large. Why had she felt so ominous? Was there a truth she needed to uncover? What unknowns lay outside the shiny office walls? Thomas shifted the conversation back, expanding on the intricacies of the project. She listened, absorbing everything, yet the nagging feeling wouldn't let go. Just as she was about to bring it up, Thomas stood, his phone vibrating insistently. Hold that thought, he said, glancing at the screen, and just like that, Mia was left alone with her swirling thoughts. She felt the weight of the air shift around her. This opportunity could change everything, she reminded herself, but the feeling of unease clung to her when Thomas returned. His face had an unusual seriousness. Mia, I know we've just met, but I need your whole attention from here on out. There's more to this than just business. His words hung heavy, and Mia's heart raced. What did he mean? What was he about to reveal? As the silence stretched between them, anticipation electrified the air. Would this be the moment that changed everything for her? Or would it crush her dreams before they had even taken flight? Mia could barely breathe. The weight of Thomas's words hung palpably in the air, pushing against her chest. There was an unspoken gravity to the moment, as if everything she had worked towards was teetering on the edge of a precipice. She could see the lines etched on his face: experience, caution, perhaps a hint of vulnerability. What's more? She finally managed to ask, her voice faint but standing firm. It was time to peel back the layers, to get to the heart of what lay beneath the surface of this business proposition. He regarded her for a moment, then sighed, as if preparing to unearth a secret from deep within. This project. It's part of a larger vision I have. It's not just about innovation. It's about empowerment. His eyes sparkled with a passionate intensity. I want to create something that not only changes the market but uplifts people, gives them a voice. Mia nodded slowly, feeling a spark igniting within her. Empowerment resonated with everything she stood for. But another thought crept into her mind, shadowed by skepticism. But why me? Why this project? Thomas leaned closer, his voice a whisper that danced across the room. Because I see fire in you, your history, your struggles, and the way you've learned to harness them. He hesitated for a second before continuing. The industry is evolving, and I need someone who understands what it's like to fight for their place. I need someone who can connect with real people. You can bridge that gap. Mia fought back the swell of emotion, her heart thudding loudly in her chest. She had always longed to be part of something greater, to feel her passion in every breath she took. This was a chance to make a difference. But before she could voice her excitement, the door swung open, and in walked Sarah, Thomas's assistant. Mia recognized her immediately as the woman with a chiseled demeanor from the gala. The sight of her sent a little tremor of unease coursing through Mia's veins. Thomas straightened, glancing up with surprise. Sarah, I thought you were out for the day, he said, his tone shifting, becoming almost defensive. I was, Sarah replied, her gaze landing on Mia with that same reflective intensity. But I heard some whispers around the office. They say you're recruiting talent? Mia felt her heart drop. This wasn't just a casual conversation anymore. Sarah's posture was obstructive. She seemed to fill the room with an air of hostility. The atmosphere crackled with tension as Sarah stepped further inside, daring to challenge. Yes, Thomas said, unflinching but wary. Mia here brings a unique perspective that could be crucial for what I'm trying to do. Sarah arched an eyebrow. Does she even know the challenges she'll face in a project like this? Mia felt a fire ignite within her. I think I can handle it, she declared, her voice now steady with conviction. I know what it's like to work hard for something and to face adversity. Do you? Sarah shot back, her skepticism slicing through Mia's confidence like a knife. Let us see if that resilience holds up when things get tough. The room darkened with unspoken threats, and Mia felt a surge of vulnerability. She needed to defend herself, to show them both that she was more than just a hopeful dreamer. But how could she when inside her anxiety bubbled, threatening to overflow? Thomas, Mia said, locking eyes with him. Maybe it's better if I step back. Absolutely not. Thomas interjected firmly, his voice commanding. You don't understand how powerful your contribution can be. A chill of uncertainty swept through Mia. The stakes just rose dramatically, and she began to question her place in this world. Did she really belong? Was this her moment to shine? Or a setup to her downfall? As Thomas and Sarah exchanged pointed looks, the energy in the room thickened. Mia stood on the precipice of something magnificent, yet caught in a struggle she hadn't anticipated. What would she choose, embrace the challenge ahead or run from the fear she felt? Each breath drew her closer to a decision, and she could only hope that she was ready for whatever came next. Mia felt the weight of Thomas and Sarah's gaze as if it were a physical pressure on her shoulders. Her heart pounded in her chest, a wild drum echoing the uncertainty that filled her with dread. It was as if time itself had stopped, leaving her suspended in a moment that could change everything. Listen, Mia, Thomas said, his voice surprisingly gentle. This ain't just about you. It's about everyone whose lives you could impact with this project. You have that power. The urgency in his tone stirred something deep within her. She had spent so long feeling invisible and unworthy. But had she not just proven her strength, her willingness to step out of the shadows and into the light? Doubt pricked at her, but as she took a deep breath, she could feel the remnants of her fears melting away. I want to be part of something bigger than myself, she declared, her voice stronger than it had been moments before. I've spent my life trying to make a difference for my family and community. I refuse to let anything stop me now. The challenge hung in the air, a test that felt monumental. I understand the stakes. Her gaze met Sarah's head-on. You can question my determination, but I know what it's like to fight for my dreams. Whatever you throw at me, I will meet it head-on. Just then she noticed a flicker of surprise in Sarah's eyes. It was brief, but it ignited a spark of confidence in Mia. Sarah wasn't expecting this from her. And before her heart could spiral back into doubt, Mia continued, if I didn't think I could rise to the challenge, I wouldn't be here. This chance is a reflection of everything I've faced and overcome. Thomas looked at Sarah, a glimmer of approval flashing across his face. Exactly. Mia embodies resilience. That's why I want her on my team. This project needs heart and passion, and she brings both in spades. Mia felt invigorated by those words. She had connected with Thomas, and together they shared a common vision. The fight wasn't just about personal growth. It was about leading a movement and allowing others to feel seen, just as she had once longed for. Sarah crossed her arms but remained silent, her expression still skeptical. Fine, she finally said, her voice icy. But I'll be watching closely, Mia. You're stepping into a pool filled with sharks. Proceed with caution. I wouldn't have it any other way, Mia shot back, a determined fire igniting inside her. She had faced judgment before and already knew the depths of darkness that existed. What could intimidate her now? She turned to Thomas, the steady presence guiding her through the maze. Let us do this, she said, a bright smile breaking through the tension. He grinned back, an infectious enthusiasm blooming. Welcome aboard, Mia. I think you're going to surprise us all. With each echo of his words, Mia felt a sense of cementing purpose. It wasn't just a stepping stone. It was a surefire chance to give every doubter a reason to believe in the incredible power of transformation. Soon after, the three of them sat down together, brainstorming, planning, and outlining the enormous impact the project could make. The conversation flowed naturally, encouraging her to speak candidly about her vision, ideas bursting forth in passionate waves. During that initial meeting, Mia glanced at Thomas, and in his eyes, she found more than just a mentor. She found belief, a promise of hope that flickered, bright and unwavering. Days turned to weeks, and as Mia dove deeper into the project, she felt her connections grow, inspiring others to share their own stories. The project became not just an initiative but a movement that resonated within the community they served. They hosted workshops, health camps, and open discussions, every step planted firmly in the ground of integrity and authenticity. And through it all, David stayed by her side. His occasional worried glances were now just reminders that she had a team of family invested in their journey together. On the evening of the launch, the excitement hummed in the air. Mia stood before the gathered crowd, the lights illuminating her face. The warm glow of opportunity had transformed into the guiding light she had once only dreamed of. "Thank you all for being here," she began, her voice steady. "This is more than just a project. It's a manifestation of our journey together. Each of us has a story to tell, a struggle to overcome. And today we unite to lift those stories, to give a voice to those who may still feel unheard." The crowd responded with a ripple of applause that filled her heart to bursting as she wrapped up her speech. She felt the warmth of connection radiate from those around her, each smile reminding her of the journey they had traveled together. The fear of the unknown now faded in the glow of triumph, and as she stepped down from the podium, a familiar figure caught her eye. It was the dark-haired woman from the gala. Mia's breath caught, her heart racing, but this time the fear was wrapped in something richer: strength, filled with the resilience she had discovered in herself. The woman approached, a neutral expression on her face, but Mia didn't see doubt nor judgment. Instead, when their eyes met, she saw acknowledgement. "Who would be thought?" the woman said softly, a hint of a smile breaking through her stern facade. "You really came through." Mia smiled back, a radiant warmth blooming in her chest. "Thank you for your words that night. You made me believe in my own strength." And with that simple exchange, Mia felt a full-circle moment wash over her. The tension she had prepared for evaporated. Beyond every challenge she had found herself, had woven her narrative into a tapestry that was no longer just her own, but one belonging to many. "Mia!" Thomas called from the other side of the celebration, his enthusiastic voice breaking through the moment. "We did it!" She turned, joy lighting her features. Together, they had not only built a project but laid the groundwork for her aspirations to take flight. And as the nights wore on, Mia didn't simply rise with challenges. She soared above them as she navigated the paths ahead. Mia understood that transformation was ever-flowing. No longer defined by her past, she had embraced her truth, allowing her journey to illuminate the way for others. The whispers of doubt had faded completely, leaving a sense of profound support and hope in their wake. She was ready for whatever life had in store next. After all, she had learned to turn the impossible into the achievable. And so, the story of a poor girl turning into a beacon for others was only the beginning. The world awaited her, ready to embrace the impact she was destined to make. And just like that, Mia found her place in the universe, not just as a nurse or a leader, but as a force of change, transcending barriers and rebuilding dreams for everyone willing to rise with her. The transformation was complete, but the journey had just begun. Now, dear friends, this is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire you on your own journey. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help spread these uplifting messages. Comment your reactions and feelings about this amazing ending. Your thoughts matter. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us keep empowering each other.